Good afternoon. So this afternoon's live is going to be working with women in engineering. I have a wide and I won't say varying. I, I have a good amount of experience now working with ladies in my field, and it hasn't been as toxic and should I say fearful as working with men in my field. I've only had two. I've only had 2.5 men throughout the last 7, 8 years now. That you kind of have to walk around on eggshells, and I would say the half. He was never like my supervisor. Well, he was. He was. He was my supervisor. But I say a half because he was just kind of distant and detached. But you knew you had to walk in eggshells. And but he wasn't like a terrible person, so that's why I say half. And there's a category of men. They tend to be married, or at least have a significant other, where you can tell that these people, when they go home, their women run the show. So it's like when they come to work, they're mean, and you can pick those kind of guys out. And I would love to sit and talk about the different stories I have. However, with working with women. However, today I'm going to talk about two particular stories. I may do like a part two, part three, because guys, yeah, my experience with working with people in general is that you go to work to work. The people at work are not your friends. You don't go to work to make friends. You go to work, you do your job, and you go home safely. And you perform while you're at work. You perform your job in a safe manner. People tend to become chatty, right? To pass time, and you need to be mindful of the kind of conversations you have, right? Don't reveal too much about yourself, especially too quick. And always remember that saying: keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. Keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. When I ask people, what do they think this means? They always say something like, well, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer, because they really never actually know what that means. And so I always ask people, like, what do you think it means? And try to, get their interpretation. And it's a wide variation of interpretations of keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Honestly, I now honestly don't even see any other way. I only see it my way. So it's kind of hard to even tell you guys what people say these days about keeping your friends close and your enemies closer. Because when you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. But this is what I think it means. Keep your friends close and enemies closer. Reason why you want to do that is because you know that your enemy is your enemy. So you keep your enemy closer than your friend because you know to watch your mouth. You know to be careful.
Save 6 minutes
how
via
you move.
I-270 North.
Oh, shoot. I've done now Bluetooth. I've completely disconnected Bluetooth. I've disconnected it from the cord. You should be hearing me. I just want to make sure that happens. That way we don't have like GPS interruptions or anything. Anyways, so keep your friends close and keep your enemies close. So you know that your enemy is your enemy who wants to hurt you or do something against you. Maybe get you fired, maybe deny you the raise, set you up, do something bad to you. So you're careful around them. However, your friends can be like alcohol. You get loose lip. You drink a little too much, you start to share too much. And especially the so-called good-hearted people are usually victims of these so-called friends. In relationships, those friends look more so like what people describe to be narcissists, or like people who love bomb. Because you get in a new relationship, now they're love bombing you, they make you feel like you're the best in the world, they get you hooked, and then they slowly detach, and next you know, You know, they're gaslighting you. By the way, gaslight, apparently I looked into it, comes from an old movie. Gaslight comes from an old movie where a man kept, you know, doing things that would make his wife, I believe, paranoid, and think that everything that was going on around her was her fault. So that's where gaslight came from. It's from like 1940, 1950s, and the movie's called Gaslight. So that's where people get that term from, gaslight. And then, but anyways, so moving on. So the problem, and the thing about, if you don't keep your friends close and then your enemies closer, what's gonna happen is that that friend is gonna end up becoming your worst enemy. And I see this time after time. So now, when it comes to working, when it comes to the actual workplace, you know, when I first started working, I looked at it completely different than I do today. I thought, okay, this is school. You come, you take some, you read some books, you take some tests, you do little class building projects and things. It's in the beginning, it was really structured like that. If you had a formal education in college, and then you went into one of these corporate jobs, you know, they do the same thing. You know, first day of class, stand up, introduce yourself. What's your favorite dog or pet? What do you like to eat? You know, tell us one interesting thing about you. Where are you from? What's your name? Same thing in class they do at the job. So you get to meet all these people, especially me being a young man. You know, my eyes are just like, whoa, because these girls are so pretty. You know, so honestly, at that time, I wasn't going to work just to work. You know, obviously, I'm going to work to work. I'm going to work to make money. I've been grinding all this time so I can become a six-figure man, right? So then when I got to that position, and then I saw all these hot honeys, you know, naturally, women get more attention in the workplace. No matter where they are, a woman always get more attention. Men will literally do whatever they can to come to a woman's aid. Luckily, I'm not a simp and I don't behave that way, so I don't just offer my aid to just girls. However, at the same time, I definitely noticed the women, and I had the opportunity to become very close to a good number of them. You know, build good, genuine relationships and friendships with them. And the ones I built the strongest relationships with came to become, I don't want to say the bane of my existence. That's too strong. More like a bane of disappointment. Because, you know, after you go back to the same internships or work situation, especially if you take a break and go back to school and then you come back, or you've just been friends with a certain person, and then you guys have any particular disagreement, that person is willing to just throw you away. And I just thought it was like a coincidence. I never viewed it as, oh, this is a woman thing, this is a man thing, you know. And I've only literally had maybe 2 experiences with men at work in the last 8 years where it was just like, oh man, I don't like this guy. You know, I need to be really careful with him. Something's weird. You know, just and for some reason, this person does not like you. I've only had 2 experiences with men like that. For some reason, this person wants to make my life difficult, and it only seems to be me. And I'm not saying that it's not unwanted. Like, as in, I was given attention that I did not deserve. Maybe I came to work late, or maybe I was sick once or twice too many. Whatever the situation is, I'm just literally just giving reasons. I'm not particularly saying anything about me, right? I mean, yeah, I'm on African time for sure. So whatever that reason is, this person does not like me. And that reason is something I naturally do, right? And in the world of men too, by the way, guys, men like to give men a hard time. And when they give men a hard time, they don't really mean to give you a hard time as in I hate you. Men can give a younger man a hard time to grow them. So that could be a point of conflict. But in those situations later on, those are ironed out, and you realize that this person is trying to grow you, right? But the kind of situations I'm talking about is like people who just naturally just don't like you, and maybe have a position or a situation where they try to make your life difficult. And then also, particularly with women, like you guys could be like the bestest of friends. You would have thought if you had met in any other world, any other situation, y'all two would have, y'all two literally would be the same friends. And any disagreement ended up in you guys not being like literally. It'll be like it'll be one directional aggression. It'll be from her to you. You're still open to be friends, but she has cut you off. She is trying to alienate you at work, right? And then other coworkers who, maybe like you more, maybe like her more. There's this obvious divide that occurs that makes everybody uncomfortable. And then you start getting into situations where, like, I'm a man, right? So when some of her girlfriends might be like, "Oh, Puka, come eat with us. Come with us." And I'll say, "No, I'm fine. I'm okay." Why? Because I don't want to be around her. And she's already shot me the alien shot. So then, because I'm not about to be a part of no groupie. So now you're going to work, lunch by yourself. And it could be literally the same place they all went, but you went 10 minutes later. You walk in, you see them all sitting, ha ha ha, he, and you leave. And it does hurt, but what else can you do? And that's I'm describing something where it's like maybe I chose, but in many of these situations, you don't even have a choice as a man. Like it's really not a choice. Like you can't be in any situation where you can make a woman uncomfortable. Well, progressing this conversation along, because I don't want to get into too deep of this conversation to then tell those kind of stories. I just wanted to say a few things to really push that work. You go to work to work. You don't go to work to make friends. In fact, in 2024, at 28 years old, I'm not looking for new friends. I'm not in the business of having friends. I have enough friends. You can buy one friend, get one free. I have enough friends. Especially today where people will meet for like a week or two and now they're friends. So we're not friends. We just happen to know each other. We're not friends. I wouldn't even say we're associates. Especially in the casual dating arena of the DMV. No, we're not friends. We're not friends. So a friend now, I've put in standards. A friend is somebody who's at least known me for 2-3 years. And if we're work friends, we need to have hung out outside of work several times, and you need to have met my mom and my dad in order for you to be my friend. If you have never met my parents or my sibling, you're not my friend. You are not my friend. And so at 28, that's the kind of like boundaries and standards I've set now, because a lot of people will just become your casual friend, and then you become too trusting about them. Well, then let's move the conversation along. And again, the reason why I wanted to push it is so that we can define a few factors. So now pushing the conversation along, actually doing work at work. From my experience, ladies do get aid. Guys will literally sabotage their own presentation to help a lady out. And luckily, even if a woman is beautiful, I'm not going to become one of the we call it njiji, which means fly, like a fly. I'm not going to become a mosquito. Awu is mosquito. I'm not going to become one of the mosquitoes that just follow you around. And I've seen that with younger men for sure. And then even older men. Older men won't follow you around, but they'll definitely be like a cluster where they'll be like, "Oh yeah, she's cute." And you can tell when an older man's flirting. He's got this older man flirt going on. But me, nah, I'm good. Especially like flirting from an older man or just a cautious man is like flirting in the workplace is like when you take your arm and you just you just touch your shoulder, you're so funny, ha, any reason to just touch on a woman is how men in the workplace try to advance that. Anyway, so moving it along. So yeah, men will go out their way to help a lady in their work, and I'm sorry. Oh, first of all, a lot of these girls. One thing I love about women in the work my workplace, workforce. I'm not just talking about like one company. I'm talking about the different companies I've ever been in and school, is that women do come smelling nice. They do come looking nice, especially in the corporate world. They do wear the nice business suit or whatnot. However, in the engineering world, engineers, what we do is we come in with jeans, sometimes flip-flops, and a sweatshirt. After a while, girls do start wearing that as well. But a lot of the things a lot of women don't change is that they'll always have their nails done, and stuff like that. And I'm not saying change. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just giving observations and the cause and the effect or the results of those observations. So if you get your nails done and they're like 3-4 inches, like here, right? You can't get any work done. And even though in my engineering field, it's not manual labor, it's still very technical labor. If you understand what I mean. It's not manual labor, but it's technical labor. So we have to be able to pick up 0201 resistors, right? They're like this small. How are you gonna do that with nails, right? We have to be able to tighten things and make sure wires don't break. How are you gonna be able to do that with nails? Long nails. So oftentimes, right, a girl will ask me or even leave work for me to come finish that require force or being able to just get my hand dirty. And a lot of the work a lot of our ladies do, and I'm not bashing or knocking them, it's fine. Hopefully you guys can hear me. LOL, somebody said this is why I don't work. I'm happy you don't work. I'm happy you don't work. And look, for all the women out there, if you want to be my girl, I'm fine with you staying at home. I'm looking for a woman to stay at home. I'm looking for a stay-at-home mom. Come be my stay-at-home wife. I'll take care of you. Let's build a family. I'm looking. I don't mind. I really don't mind. And honestly, I'm looking for a woman who I can go out there, bust 100 hours a week, and continue to build on my investments. And then you do stuff like my taxes, and you find people to, like, for example, I have a couple of rentals. So you find people to live in the rentals. You do those kind of works. You organize for landscapers and whatnot to come, manage all of that. You do all those soft things, and I'm fine. I'm actively looking for that, Anyway, so yeah, so at work, you get your hands dirty. Like even as an EE, I work usually with computer chips, but sometimes you're working with like different chemicals, flux. I've taken out motors before, and it's oil everywhere. And these motors can be anywhere between like 70, 100 pounds and more. So you find yourself in those positions, and then so when you find yourself in those positions, ladies will ask for your help. It's very common. Anyways, moving the conversation along, there are two stories that I really want to talk about that have occurred. So there was one job I worked at, and this is a side job. I take on a lot of side jobs, engineering side jobs. So we were developing. So if you come out here in the DMV area, in the metro, they jump the gates, right? They jump the gates. So we were installing and trying to make it harder for people to jump those gates. And honestly, I left that. I had to get out of there. I was getting so depressed because I was seeing young parents teach their children to jump the gates. And so it's like these kids don't even know that you have to pay, which is sad. It's very sad because school children can actually ride on some of these metros for free. Like if you're part of that county or whatever that's connecting, you can ride on those things for free. And so I was seeing like literally children, infants, jumping the gates. And I even saw things like a group of girls, each one just hopping over, and one fell and bust her face on the concrete, like literally blood and saliva everywhere. And her friends didn't even stop. And I helped her up, and she, we wobbled over to the wall, you know, are you okay? This is not even my job. I'm just here to make sure the arm is functioning correctly. Like after you install it, you have to make sure the code and everything works and it actually tightens. So this is not even my job, you know? So I had to get out of there. But anyways, we have to deliver these things to the substation, to the metro stations. And then after that, I'm sorry for saying substation. I've actually worked at I used to work for Pepco for 2 years. So we deliver it to these metro stations. I believe that's what they call it, metro stations. And then we'll come back and do it. So if anybody knows anything about the world of like driving trucks and whatnot, sometimes companies will pay you. So this particular company was actually paying people double the time. So let's say they're paying you $35 an hour to just do regular stuff. They'll pay you $70 for you to drive into DC or whatever, Baltimore, and deliver to whatever station per hour, right? So one lady, she was kind of a manly kind of woman. She had a girlfriend, and I guess she was the manly of the two people in her relationship. Apparently her girlfriend takes care of her pretty well. Like apparently her girlfriend makes a lot of money. I'm just saying that because she really loves saying how her woman was taking care of her, and I'm happy for her. So anyways, on one trip, one day, her and this foreign migrant were working. He doesn't really speak a lot of English, and they had an accident where she hurt her wrist. Okay, so the next day she makes a big deal about it, to the point where she's ready to fight our manager and supervisor, literally. And these people were not American per se. They're just like me. You know how I'm from Nigeria? These people are from Korea, you know? And the man told her, hey, you know, relax, because this is just contract work. It's literally just contract work. So you have to contract with them for like, I think 3 months or so before you get certain health benefits and whatnot, right? And I just told her, hey, you know, go get it checked. She already had it checked out. She already got it she already went and got it checked out and everything. The doctor said it's fine. It's a little sore, but you're fine. Just stay off of it. She not only came back from the doctor's thing with a full cast on it, like she literally wrapped it with she went to CVS and bought a wrap and wrapped it around everything. And she was just in their face, you know, like, hey, da 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 da. She was just making a big scene about it. And she's a black woman, by the way. So by the way, at work, the black men do actually stand up, speak up, and defend our women. She's a black woman, so the black men, including me, were advising her, hey, just let it go, it's fine. You know, let's just get this money. You know, since she hurt herself, just be a passenger, and then me, you know, let's say Fred, and you just be a passenger, right? And then, you know, we'll get this money and go. By the way, when I said 35, but they were really paying 40. So the truck, when you drive the truck to deliver and stuff like that, which is a part of our job description, it's just that they like to just pay us more. And this, again, it's a contract job. So we're getting paid 40 an hour, and then they gave us the opportunity to just, you know, deliver the truck using a regular truck from anywhere, like let's say Home Depot or whatever. And they paid us 80. So we say, hey, let's say me and Fred, you can just tag along, you know, just sit there. We'll drive because you hurt your hand, right? So we tried to fix it in our community at work, but she didn't want to do that. She kept making a fuss about it, going after the foreign migrant. This guy don't speak a lot of English, and he was actually smaller than her. She's taller than him, and he's actually smaller than her. She's like maybe 5'8", and he's 5'4". You know, and you know, he's like a Middle Eastern guy, so he doesn't have a lot of muscle mass. Whereas, you know, black people, us, we naturally carry muscle and a bigger frame, even regardless if it's man or woman, we tend to be bigger. So she's actually bigger than this guy, but he's still stronger than her, but you know, she is actually larger than him. And anyways, and she's also larger than most of these Korean guys, our manager, supervisor. So she was really in their face, like, hey, you know, like, I skipped a part. So after she made a big deal about it, the next day, the supervisor calls her, you know, we're all at the warehouse, and calls her to the side, and she gets upset, and she's in his face like, what what? He hurt me, and now you guys are punishing me. So what happened was the supervisor said, hey, you hurt yourself, you know, don't drive for like 2 weeks, you know, till you heal up. We'll make sure everything's fine, safe. Please go to the doctor, which she had already done. And she was really in their face like, hey, what? She was really in her face, like their face, fist balled up like, what? Now you're gonna punish me? What? Yo, I was debating about running over like, hey, come on. She was really in their face. And two things happened from this. So, first of all, we told you just ride along with us. Don't say nothing. So now she wasn't gonna make the 80. That's why she was upset. She wasn't gonna make the 80, and we try to be gone for most of the day when we have to deliver. So we try to be gone for 4-6 hours, you know, and we deliver maybe 2 times a week, 3 times a week. So it makes a big difference. Your 3 times a week turns into you work just almost a 7, like you worked basically an 8-day week. So it makes a big difference, you know, and this is cash money. So that's why she was upset, but she couldn't see the bigger picture. Like, hey, chill out, you know, because the black men, us, we were ready to take care of her. Like, hey, just chill out. Like, we're big, so we can really do this work by ourselves. But you know, like when people are new to the job and stuff, they try to make themselves look busy. So that's what happened. That other guy was doing a lot of busy work and he was incompetent. So that's why the thing, you know, she's holding it up and he let go, whatever happened, and hurt her hand. But then when she went and dramatized it and made it bigger than it was, she really didn't make it as big as she could have made it bigger. Like, I'm not saying she's wrong, but you have to have emotional intelligence and understand what you're in. This is not a corporate job. This is work on the side. It's a contract job. You're here to make money. They're here to pay you a premium, whatever you want to call it, and you don't have any health benefits and whatever. You're here just to make some raw cash on the side, you know? So why, yeah, and your men have told you how you should move. If any other man got hurt, I got hurt once. It wasn't like severe or nothing, but I got hurt once. You know, maybe I jammed my thumb. I can't even remember, because when I get hurt at work, our jobs are very manual. I've hit my hand with a hammer. I do this at home. So it's not like a big deal for me. And, you know, I don't mind if let's say, is this supposed to be an 8-hour day? And traffic was a lot. And I come back and it's only an hour and a half, you know, maybe I spent an hour and a half more. I'm not going to make a big fuss about it. I'm not going to make a big, I mean, that I would, an hour and a half, right? You will get paid for that. But what I mean is, like, let's say, you know, they're paying you for gas. I'm not going to go hound them for gas, you know? Like, yeah, they're going to give me my refund, obviously. But let's say I spent $82. They gave me $80 in gas refund. Cool. Or like one time I got a ticket. They explicitly don't like paying for tickets when you get it. And I parked irresponsibly, but I'm not going to go fight them over that. And that's the kind of stuff she would do. And so when our contract was over, when that particular contract was over, because it was in phases, they let her go. They let her go. Meanwhile, by the way, she's the only woman there too. So the black man, we were really looking after her, making sure she was okay. We really were trying. But she was so hard of hearing. She wouldn't listen. Every little thing is a big deal. Like, chill out, you know. And and after the job, I've still texted her like, hey, how you doing? Did you find another job? How you doing? Are you okay? Because me and her, we're financially on different levels. Like that was my side job, but that was her main job, kind of thing, you know. So I check on her. Why? Because she's a black woman, and I'm gonna make sure she's all right. Like, hey, like tomorrow we have a career fair, by the way. Everybody, we have a career fair out in Baltimore. You should go. It's called BEYA, B-E-Y-A. I'm gonna be there. Don't come there and rob me, please. But anyway, so I was looking after her and stuff like that. Just check on her. I've checked on her 3 times. Checked on her 3 times. I'm not checking on her no more because I have no reason to. Yeah. So that was a problem. Anyways, the other thing, because I'm almost home and I don't want to keep talking for too long after I get home. I see there are some chats, so I'm gonna see what everybody wrote, and I'll respond to them, and then I'll head out and go home. I mean, like, go in my house. So then next, right, there was another story one time, and I have so many of these. Again, it's a male-dominated space. There's only one female. She happens to be black. Anytime I work in like the DC area, especially in like PG County, and it's like an engineering or anything like that, and there's a woman there, she's probably gonna be a black woman. And honestly, up here, if we have staff, like let's say we have like HR or like front desk, it's usually a woman, or like accounting is usually a black woman, so I'm happy about seeing stuff like that, right? It makes me feel comfortable at home. So I like that. Anyway, so again, engineering, only black woman, you know, long nails, that kind of thing again. And so I was sitting in front of her and I was doing a task. She was doing another task, and I did look over a couple of times to see how she was doing her task, but I didn't particularly see anything wrong. Like, because you know, we do very small detailed tasks. Like, we work on small things. So I wasn't like in her face, just like watching. And she's been there longer at that time. And again, this is like a side thing, right? Side job. But a white gentleman who actually is married to a black woman made a comment the next day saying that he peeked over at what she was doing. He didn't really like it. It didn't look like good work. So he got the supervisor and him to grab what she had worked on before she came to work. I usually show up to work around 6:30 p.m. I mean 8 a.m. I show up to work at 6:30 a.m. So I can get out of there, right? So they were going through everything she had done, and I was there too, going through it and making comments on like da-da-da, because she had been there for a while. She'd been there for like 2 years, but her work was piss poor. The supervisor, this is not his field, but whatever. You know what they do. They'll give these guys an advantage sometimes, and that's what it seems like. But he's also a sincere, decent guy. It's just that some of these fellas at that job didn't like him because, you know, with us black people, there's always something about race, and a lot of it, I will acknowledge, does exist. But you can change your situation with your attitude and your work ethic. And he did come in and he did grind, and he's been there only a few months, and he got the supervisory position, versus these guys had been there for like 2.5 years maybe. Anyway, so the guy, you know, because it's like 3 people now looking at her over her work, me being there. The guy makes some comments like, I would have talked to her, but, you know, she had an attitude, or I was afraid of her attitude, right? So she comes in, and he had told another guy this thing, a Spanish guy. So the Spanish guy was able to talk to her like, hey, this was what happened, something about attitude. So then she came in and confronted us, because I was there. But mainly she was talking to the 2 white guys. And she wasn't like necessarily, she was just like, hey, I heard I did something wrong. What is it that I did wrong? Can I see? Can I do that? And I want to just express it like that. That's what, one, that's what happened. And 2, when I had a similar situation the month before, or maybe even a week before, because it's been years now, that happened where I had done some work that they didn't like. But when I was asked about it, I really wasn't like, hey, I heard that I did something wrong. What can I do? I was like, oh, I did something wrong. I'm sorry. Can you show me how to fix it? Okay. Like, my whole tone was so much different. Whereas her tone was more so like, hey, let's address this, you know. And when she left, right? Because these are simple, the task was simple. It's just you have to do a bunch of it. And her work just wasn't to standard. So when she left, I said, I waited like 10 minutes and I said, hey guys, so I'm gonna go show her what we need to do, what is needed to be done. And I did say, you know, let me do it. I'm gonna say it in Blackanese. And they laughed, they giggled and laughed. You know, you would think, okay, maybe if they said that, that would have been racist, but if I say it right, it's still racist. but there's a point to it. These two white fellas are not racist. One is literally married to a black person. Yes, you can be racist and be married to a black person, obviously. But like, they're not, they might be uppity, they might be, you know, kind of cutthroat or mean or whatever. But that's the world men live in. At work, nobody's like giving you a cupcake and rubbing you on the head. Good job. So that's the kind of world, we, oh my goodness. I left my freaking Apple Watch charger at work again. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to go buy one at Best Buy because I can't go this whole weekend with my phone with my Apple Watch dead. I like to walk 6 miles a day. I can't, and I like to swim, and I just can't have this Apple Watch dead. Anyways, so the man's workplace is harsh and the work can be tedious. If it's not literally manual labor, like hard on the body, it's tedious, where our hands are cramping from doing the same task. And we are held to a very hard standard, and we are humiliated in front of everybody else, in front of the whole engineering staff, like in front of the whole company. We'll be humiliated, and you just kind of get up and keep walking. That's how we are. But anyway, so I told him, hey, I'm gonna go talk to her. When I say black needs, I wasn't saying it to be racist or nothing. What I was doing was talking in man's language. Like we're communicating like men. It's not necessarily because she's just black or whatever. I was just saying, let me go talk to her and show her how it's done. Men, we talk a lot different. That's why I wanted to make this live, because if any younger person is listening, I really want you to understand that when you go to work, you can joke around and talk with boys, but you have to change it and tone it down for the ladies. And you don't go there to flirt and mess around with women. You go there to work. Women at the workplace are not your potential girlfriends, and nobody at work is your potential friend. You go there to work so you can come home and take care of yourself and your family. If you want some friends, go to a park or join a book reading club, knitting club, Xbox video gaming club, but don't go to work to be friends. So anyways, I go over because she has a family she needs to feed. There's a reason why she's here. She's not coming here just to volunteer. So I go over, I'm like, hey, you know, so how you doing? You doing good? Okay. Yeah, I was here when they grabbed the thing. And then she was blowing off steam like, yeah, da 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 da. And even like the first 40 minutes of trying to talk to her was just trying to get her to calm down. And I don't know where she was like, I'll be back. And then she came back like half an hour later. She had already gone to HR. She was trying to get us all to write. Like she said she was gonna write something, email, so we can send it out. And I did tell her, look, sure, if you write something, here's how I feel. I don't think they're trying to hurt you or do anything to you. I don't think this is actually what it is. I've gone through it with them. I fixed what their issue was, and I was able to produce several hundred of that product without a problem. And they checked it for quality, and it was great. It's actually the best product we have out here now. This is what I've created is now the new standard for what people should be doing. And the changes they wanted and desired were reasonable and necessary changes. And when I came here, I didn't mess these up when I first did them because I'm lazy or whatever. It's because we didn't have a standard. So I just did it how I saw other ones did it. I literally made the other ones look like it because I assumed that was the standard. But now I know better. I'm doing better. I think Maya Angelou said that when you don't know better, something like that, you do what you can. But when you do know better, you change, something like that. So anyways, I expressed that to her, but I said, you know, we black, whatever. If you do whatever, I'll co-sign with you. Because I'm not going to let you look like a crazy, vindictive, attitude black woman by yourself. You know, she's basically talking to the black men. Because there's like 7 of us. she's just talking to us. There's like 7 of us and like 2 of them in her mind, right? But it's really us, L, as engineering. And why I wanted to make this live, guys, is that ladies will be at work thinking it's you versus them instead of it's us, the company. So anyways, an hour and a half go by. I'm showing her, I'm talking to her in what I call Blackanese. I'm like, da da da. I then, once I started to see she was calming down, then I started joking with her. Like, hey, chill out. You know you got attitude. Chill out. Hey, ooh. Like, for example, she had made the correction. She was happy, and she smacked me on the arm. I said, ooh, chill. You know you got an attitude. So now I'm making her laugh and giggle, and she's smiling. And then about the second half of the day, I was working with that same guy that said that he was afraid of talking to her because he was worried about her attitude. And I was working with him, and we happened to come in that room where she's working in. And then when she asked me to evaluate it, because this man is much older than me, he's been doing this work for 50 plus years. He's my senior. So when she asked me to look over, I said, hey, ask. I said, oh, hey, could you, I didn't say, hey, ask. I grabbed it. I said, I grabbed the cable from her. I looked at it slightly. And I said, hey, sir, could you look at this for me? Did I tell her anything wrong? Is this how you think? By the way, when I looked at it, it was good. And it was good. If it was bad, I would have said, hey, fix this. But it was good. So I was like, hey, do you see anything wrong? Because, you're the one who taught me, da-da-da. And then he looked at it. He said, this is great. You just got to fix this little part. And then she fixed it and gave it back, to try to give back to me. I said, oh, Joe, can you look at this? I just make up random names these days. Joe, Bob, Louis, names I've never seen in my life. Joe, can you look at this and see? He's like, yeah, this is perfect. And then they started to build a relationship. Now they were on good terms. And now they're fine, I mean, she still feels the same way. And a couple of the men there feel the same way because they have felt slighted. And it's just working as a black man in corporate America, you do get passed over for things. And you are the butt of the joke. And they do go into rooms and talk shit about you and laugh about you, and they're doing it. And I've experienced it so much. But what can I do? This is still a $150,000 job. This is still a $80,000 job, $50,000 job. At the end of the day, I'm gonna get my money, right? Now, what do I do with that money is really what's important. The important thing is, what do I do with that money after I get it? But you're not going to stop me from getting that money. And so what I do with that money is going to determine how long these people can still go in those closets with that one light bulb in the middle, huddled up, talking shit about you. Anyways, so then after I mitigated all that, the girl, she was fine. I still have to help her at that time. She'll do certain work, and then I'll be the force, make sure it's fine. I'll literally come over and pull, let's say she made like a cable or whatever. I'll come up and I'll try to pull it apart. If I just do this and it comes apart, do it again, please. And it sounds mean, but I'm gonna come up and try to tear your work, because some of these work, when you work in a power company, a lot of this work goes outside. They're on the power poles. They have to be durable for power to go through it, electricity run through it. They have to be durable. So you can't just half tighten it. You need to make sure it's tight, So anyway, so those are the 2 stories. I see a lot of comments, so I'm gonna reply to the comments. I'm gonna go. Hopefully you guys didn't write dumb comments like call me gay today, because you guys have called me gay in the past. So you said a mosquito. Whoa, that's why I don't work. Yeah. So in Igbo, Moshi said that. So there are so many mosquito and fly references in my culture. So some people will say like which means like let's leave the situation or the problem so it's like a mosquito bite in the middle of the night. Actually, so this Moshi says, actually I'm a girl and I don't wear suits and such and F nails. I bite them stuff off. True. You know, men do look at nails. Like I will look at a woman's nails, and depending on how your nails are, I'm gonna disqualify you. Like I'm not gonna try to talk to you. If you got the Wolverine nails or you've got the bedazzled and all that, I usually skip over because that's something I'm gonna have to maintain. Like a lot of women are gonna see that as that's gonna be my responsibility to give you money to do that. But if you have like nails that are like maybe, you know, just clean, organized nails with a white polish or like, you know, a color, but it's not too much, but it's clean and nice and not like mine, that's super attractive. Moshi, listen, not all girls be wearing long nails. Not all girls be wearing long nails. Not all girls be wearing long nails. Obviously, I do know that. I'm 28 years old. Moshi says, I got a guy. Oh, good. I'm happy you got a guy. Moshi, I was raised on a farm. I don't care if I get dirty. Yeah, that's perfect. You know? And in the engineering world, we do get a lot of women who don't mind being dirty and stuff like that. There's only one or two from time to time. But in the corporate world, it's a lot different. Corporate world, you're coming in there with, you know, heels, and you know those heels suck. You don't want to walk around with them. Coming in with that nice blouse with a dress skirt, you know. But in the engineering world, in the field, I can't tell you how many times where I'll see the men around a ditch digging something with the machine, using the heavy machinery. And then the girls are like, you know, they're holding like the stop sign, cutting traffic off, and then they're literally just sitting there. Like literally just sitting there playing on their phone. Or whatever task it is that's not as laborious. And that's what I'm talking about for today's. So today's lives are literally about, you know, men, you have to think about, you really need to start thinking about women differently. You got to think professionally at work. And then two, you know, some of the things I've observed while working, and I'm not attacking anybody, like a girl with nails or just a girl in general is not going to be able to tighten that latch or that cable or whatever it is, that screw, to make sure it's in there. Unless she's like 6'4", 250 pounds, she's probably not going to. And that's not a diss, it's just what it is. And also, women, listen to this. If you are working in our field, don't be offended if people, you know, reprimand you or check on your quality or even go behind you and fix up things. Like I will go behind a girl and tighten and redo, not redo, but like I will tell you something, but I will go back behind you and check your work. But it's not just because you're a girl. I'll do that for men as well. I ask people to check my work, you know, so that's just the world. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. I'm the only person. Oh, that's so sweet. I wish I could pin you guys' things. Pin message. And then I'm gonna. Oh, you know, Mochi, I think what you had said was because you had said that you're glad you don't work. I think that was you, right? And then so then I talked about looking for a stay-at-home mom. So no, I mean stay-at-home wife or whatever. Yeah, no, I'm happy you have a man. I'm really happy you have a man. I hope you guys work out and you guys are doing. I know you guys are doing great. You know, I'm really happy about that. Anyways, I hope everybody has a I'm gonna replace this pin. Yeah. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'm home now, so I'm going to go garden, because men garden. And then in the future lives, I'm thinking about doing more technical stuff, because I'm tired of the whole like gender war stuff. My channel is not a man's channel, it's not a woman's channel. My channel is an interest channel. It is what is Buka interested in? So if you go on my channel, you'll see cars, you'll see archery. By the way, I should be going hunting next weekend. So you'll see drone shots, you'll see gardening, you'll see quotes, you know, you'll see all sorts of things. My channel is not a man's channel. It's a woman's channel. It is a what am I interested in and what are my genuine thoughts and I'm not coming here to mislead anybody. I'm not coming here to insult anybody. You know. So, anyways, I'm gone. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And thank you, Mochi, for coming on, and thank you, Ya, for coming on. And Mochi, literally, thank you so much for all your comments. I really appreciate it. I really wish there was a way where so it looks like I put you as a moderator somehow. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing more lives, actually sitting down and like set up. It's just that when I'm at home, I really just want to relax and take care of myself, play some video games, exercise. I don't really want to sit and talk. And if I do, I want to play video games. And if I do, I really don't want to be talking about, especially the whole like woman, man, man, woman. I don't want to talk so serious. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe I'll change up the topics and start talking about like engineering or something, something serious but lighthearted and different. So we'll see. Anyways, I'm gone.